Here come the Beavers. Y'all ready to go swimming, baby? Come on. Give it up. Get out of that water. I tried telling y'all, it's swim lessons, baby.
Happy day, everybody. How are we doing? Welcome back to Swim Lessons. I'm your host, Dallas Hanson. My guest today is head coach of the Minot State University football team. That is the mighty and proud Beavers, Coach Ian Shields. Coach Shields has coached all across this great land, but he came to Minot State after some interesting signs, and we'll get into that in the podcast. But Coach Shields has done a great job reviving this football program, and I look forward to watching the program continue to grow. He's a great dude, and he's a very fun hang. So make sure to catch up with the Minot State Beavers this fall. You can find their schedule and all the information you need to know about Coach Shields and the boys. That's msubeavers.com. Again, Coach Shields and the boys, very interesting. They're in a tough division in the NSIC. So it's great football. You know I love my Dickinson State boys. I love sports in North Dakota, though, so I got to show some love for the Beavers. And it's fun to talk to Coach Shields because he started this program, and we get into it in the podcast, but he started with one guy coming to off-season workouts, and now they got 80. So he's building this thing up, and he's just a very, very, very positive, and he feels a guy with confidence when he comes and talks to you. So I really appreciate Coach Shields, and I appreciate our sponsors that made today possible. The first one, PSP Network. It's in the game. PSP Network, promoting local student athletes for a very long time. Right now, they are gearing up. They're gearing up for football season, coming at you live, baby, on PSP Network. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel at PSP Network. Check out their schedule events on their website. That's psp.network. Nick Holberg and the crew are putting together the schedule for this fall. Going to be a lot of great football around this great state. I'm excited to be a part of the team and do some play-by-play, some color. I'm not sure what the schedule is going to be, but Nick's going to let us know here in the coming days, so keep an eye out for that. And next up, I love a good hamburger. I love a good steak. And let me tell you where you got to get it and why you got to get it. It's at the heart of the Bakken in Williston, North Dakota. It's River's Edge Bar and Grill. They are known for offering the best happy hour in town, providing unbeatable deals in a lively atmosphere. Guests can also enjoy a variety of entertaining activities, including bingo, trivia, and the very popular Name the Tune. Come on down to River's Edge for great drinks, great food, and great fun. And last but definitely not least, Glosso Angus, a proud sponsor of Swim Lessons, the podcast. They're your premier source for registered black Angus cattle since 1973. Glosso Angus cattle showcase dominance, durability, and docility, and they're built to thrive on the northern plains. Check them out. That's Glosso, Glasoe, Angus.com. Thank you, everybody who's subscribed and everybody who's listened. It's been a wild ride, and I've truly appreciate everybody. But here we go with the head man for Minot State football, Coach Ian Shields. Coach, thanks so much for doing this, man. I've been looking forward to it for a long time.
No, excited to be on and be on the podcast here and talk about a little Beaver football.
Heck yeah. Well, I want to start us off with a quote. Ian Shields is a coach who gave me confidence on the football field. He understood the level of execution needed from players and consistently providing accurate and detailed coaching. He has a great feel of how to develop football players and get them to play to the best of their ability. Thanks to his coaching, I was able to accomplish challenges that have helped me to adjust very differently in different football environments in my football career. As a person, Coach Shields instilled me with values of professionalism and family. He's a tremendous role model and a mentor to every player in the locker room. And who said that? That's former Army Ranger Bronze Star Medal recipient, an Army West Point left tackle, and a Pittsburgh Steeler 2017 Pro Bowl selection, Alejandro Villanueva. Thoughts when you hear that?
Well, it's flattering coming from one of the more extraordinary people I've ever had the privilege to even meet, let alone coach. Ali is a special man. I mean, so to hear stuff like that, it's flattering, and he's probably just trying to help me out and be nice. But
those are some strong words.
Yeah, and really, I mean, it hits you as a coach when you know we love to win games, and the scoreboard's important and all that, but ultimately you're trying to make a difference. And that's my calling. Like, coaching's my calling. Ali's, I mean, I could go on. He's the most extraordinary human being maybe I've ever met. I mean, he speaks 5 languages.
Wow.
He's 6'10". He's the largest infantry officer in the history of the United States Army.
Wow.
Deployed outside the wire, did some wild stuff, out in places none of us want to be.
Well, I just remember him from when everybody was taking a knee. And he in the Pittsburgh Steelers, Coach Tomlin, he's like, I can't take a knee. Not trying to get too political, but he stood outside of the locker room with his hand over his heart. And I remember the Steelers, the whole team stood behind him. And I mean, to make a point like that nationally, and then for all your teammates to say, no, we're standing behind you because we believe in you. I mean, that's insane. They must have an incredible belief.
Yeah, Ali is authentic.
Yeah.
He is who he is, and he stands for what he stands for. And he knows what that flag means. Mm-hmm. He's fought for it and for the rights of everyone on this soil to enjoy that. So, special guy. I mean, tremendous. Not even talking about his athleticism or what just a genetic mutant he is at 6'10". And I mean, the story is, when we got to West Point, our staff got there, and Ali played left tackle for the previous staff. Well, we did all of our testing and running and everything, and Ali was like one of the most athletic big guys in the building, or probably anywhere on earth. And we were trying to, at Army, it's hard to find matchups. It's hard to win matchups because you don't have the same, you're not recruiting the same people, Notre Dame or Boston College or Pitt or, the people you got to butt heads with consistently. So we had a big wide receiver at our previous stop. Cal Poly was the third round draft choice, Ramses Barden, and he was 6'6", 230. Now he ran a 4.55, and he got a Super Bowl ring. He was All-American at the FCS level. We were just trying to find another matchup issue for people to complement what we did in the run game. And so we put Ali at wide receiver. So you open a try in this. Well, Ali, his senior year, so talk about a selfless human being, and talk about this guy. We said, because I'd like to try that, because I might play tight end in the NFL if I could get that opportunity. And so we put him as our Ballinger receiver, our X in our system, and he played receiver his senior year. He led us in receptions. Now, we were at Army and running the flex bone, basically. But I believe he had 35, 38 catches, something like that, his senior year, a few touchdowns. He had a touchdown against Iowa State. I know he had one against Ball State. I'm just jogging the memory. If you're a safety, you don't want Ali Villanueva cracking you.
No,
right?
Definitely not.
And so, it was done. He graduated, and then he branched infantry, which really all the guys that branch infantry at West Point, those are the guys that want to get in it. Those are the guys that want to be in that game on the field, right? And not that that's a game.
Right, yeah.
But so those guys want to go to Ranger school, right? And so Ali did. He went to Ranger school, became an Army Ranger, went to Afghanistan, did all that, did his service, which you're required to do, and then came back and signed as a free agent with the Eagles as a D lineman.
Did he play D-line at all in college?
No. Maybe his freshman year, before I got there, but then he was predominantly on the offensive side. But the Eagles saw something in him as a D lineman, and he went to some training camp and whatnot. And the last preseason game, they were playing the Steelers.
Okay.
And Ali wasn't getting a lot of run. And Mike Tomlin saw him across the field and said, "Who's that big joker over there?" and because so they signed Ali just based on Tomlin kind of knowing enough about him. I mean, probably a scout in the building, obviously. But Tomlin liked Ali already. And then the Steelers took him and signed him to the practice squad as an offensive lineman. And so he was there, and he was on the practice squad. And then through injuries, the left tackle, I think, blew out his ACL. The next guy gets hurt. All of a sudden, Ali's off the practice squad, and he's playing left tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow.
Yeah. And then he did well enough where I'm thinking Ali was Pro Bowl 2 times for sure, maybe 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think, then he ended up signing a big contract and played for the Ravens for maybe a year or 2 to finish. But you talk about an extraordinary person and selfless and just a crazy story. I mean, he was a competitive swimmer as well in his youth. Like
A swimmer.
yeah,
Wow.
6'10". So
Jeez, not many paddles to go down to the end of the pool. I'll tell you that much.
no, he is just a great person. You know, but also you wouldn't want to get in a fight with him.
No,
and you wouldn't want to play Scrabble with him. Like you'd lose at everything.
Yeah,
like he's brilliant and tough. So yeah.
What was it like coaching at Army?
It's special. I mean, you're talking about some of the best young men in the country. You know, obviously they're Division I football players when they come there, but they're really coming for something they're bigger than that. They're coming there to serve their country. Mm-hmm. So you put that combination together, and then the elite academics that are there. I mean, it's the premier leadership institution in the world. Right? I think that could be safely said. Mm-hmm. And so there's just so much history. You walk around that place. It's a special place. So to live there and coach there as a coach, and you know, I had some family members in the military, but I certainly was. And I mean, I played football at Oregon State, you know?
Yeah.
But you're there, you're surrounded. Like those young men are inspiring to coach. Like it's not hard to be motivated every day coaching those guys. Like it was a pretty cool experience.
What about an Army-Navy game? What was that like?
Well, it's kind of like, you know,
you're walking out of the tunnel.
It's a goose bumper, like for any football fan or even a sports fan in general.
Yes,
but it's a bucket lister.
Yes,
that's one you have to go to.
Yes,
and feel. I can't probably describe it fairly, but it's. I mean, it's like taking a piece of America. Like for that day, it's like the coolest game you can be a part of. There's a lot of big games in this country, Michigan, Ohio State, right? Or Alabama, Auburn. There's a bunch of rivalry games, but really nothing compares to Army Navy.
Yeah. So I mean, I can't even imagine.
It's special. Now, Army hadn't beaten Navy before we got there, and then we closed the gap. But we didn't beat Navy in any of the time I was there, and we were close. Like there's 2 times we arguably should have and didn't, and they're heartbreakers. So when I hear that, I mean, and if you don't win those games, then you know you're going to get fired, and the next staff gets that opportunity, right?
Right.
And so we closed the gap, and we had some heartbreakers. And Navy was rolling then too, you know, and so. But like I said, so it's mixed emotions. I think about those games. I'm like, oh, woulda, coulda, shoulda, and disappointment on a professional level. But from a personal level, and for like our families to be part of, and just to be there and check the boxes in professionally as a Division I coach, and you're in front of a international audience. What are we talking about here? You know, and how much that game means to everybody. It's I can't minimize it.
Is that where you developed your love for running the football as a coach?
No. It's probably when I was playing in college, actually at Oregon State, and I was a quarterback.
So but to back up for a second, so you played football and baseball for the Beavers, right?
Yes.
How was that?
Challenging.
I bet.
Yeah, because when in high school, everyone that gets the opportunity to go play Division I or anything, you're one of the better high school players, obviously. But then you get to college, and everybody's all conference or all state or all everything. So, you know, unless you're Bo Jackson or Deion Sanders, and you just can show up and be better than everybody at everything, it's a real hard double to be a dual sport athlete in college, and not to mention you got to go to class.
Yeah,
you know, and so that was a challenge for me. So I played 2 years of baseball. I started as a freshman at second base at Oregon State. When I didn't do great, I was probably not quite ready to play at that level, honestly. But at the time, I was the best that we had.
Yeah, you got through.
Yeah, but it was just hard, you know. And then when I went to football, then I was trying to play quarterback. Well, if you miss spring ball, then you're not going to play. You're certainly not going to start. And so then there just came a time where the rubber met the road, and I had to make a decision. So I just went the direction of football. And it's worked out and led me around, you know, as a coach. And if I wasn't coaching football, I'd probably be somewhere coaching baseball. I mean, because it's a passion of mine still, you know. But it was a heck of an experience at Oregon State. Really, I mean, I learned a lot on both sides of that, you know, both sports.
When you make a decision like that, what went into that? Because I'm sure there's a lot of dual athletes that listen to this that are kind of considering that. So what did you think about?
Well, I think initially I may have made the wrong decision of even choosing baseball. I chose baseball because I looked around and I was recruited as football, basketball, and baseball in all three sports.
What'd you play in basketball?
I was a point guard. I mean, look at me.
Sorry. Yeah.
So, but honestly, I looked around and I didn't see a lot of, 5'10" white basketball players in the NBA or a quarterback in the NFL. A lot of guys my stature, my size, my profile. And I looked at baseball and said, that looks like I'm pretty good at all these. Where's my best shot to make it? And because I just wanted to play pro, that was my dream, growing up, like pretty much every young man, or a lot that are in athletics, obviously. So that's why I chose baseball. I thought I could make it and I thought I had the tools to make it. And, had scouts telling me that and at the house and, all that. So looking back though, football is my passion. And, you usually gravitate. The best decision for all these young men around the country trying to make a decision is go where your passion is. Follow your passion. Don't listen to what everybody else tells you because they don't know.
Yeah. How was your time at Oregon State as a quarterback?
It was good. I mean, the program was down. We didn't win a lot. My sophomore year, we got a new head coach, Coach Jerry Pettibone, took over, who'd been at Northern Illinois at the head coach there before. But he made his mark at Nebraska with Tom Osborne as a recruiting coordinator and Oklahoma probably even more so with Barry Switzer. So Coach Pettibone, matter of fact, he's still alive. He just had his birthday last week. He was recruiting coordinator at Oklahoma when they were rolling, and Barry Switzer was the head coach, and he recruited Billy Sims and the Selman brothers and people in the Hall of Fame and won Heisman trophies. And he recruited Mike Rozier at Nebraska, won a Heisman trophy.
Wow.
He's been there and done that, right?
Yeah.
And so it was a great experience playing for him and some of the coaches. We had a tremendous staff there at Oregon State. We just didn't have enough good players at the time, and we had guys like me playing. So that was the problem. So you're playing at that time the Pac-10. Not to date myself because it doesn't exist anymore, right? But USC, Washington, everyone was loaded back then. So pretty cool stuff. Our defensive coordinator at that time was Rocky Long, who's the winningest coach in the history of the Mountain West Conference now as the head coach. Brady Hoke was our D-line coach, was the head coach at Michigan and at San Diego State as well, same as Rocky. Bronco Mendenhall was a coach on the defense, who's now the head coach at Utah State, but he's been at Virginia. And we had lots of good coaches. Yeah. Like I said, we just had some guys that weren't twitchy and fast enough like me playing.
Well, okay, so what made you, and this is one of my favorite questions to ask coaches that have made it their life story. What made you say, okay, I love this game. I want to have a family, but I want this family and my life to surround one game. That one game is football, and I want to be a coach. What was the moment like when you decided that?
I knew I was going to be a coach probably since I was in the third grade.
Really?
My dad was a coach, an athletic director. My mom was a high school principal, administrator. I knew it was when I was done playing, whenever that final snap or final pitch or whatever that last dance was going to be, I knew what I was doing next. I never even wavered, like thinking, I should go into
sales or something. Yeah.
I'm like, it never even crossed my mind. I just laughed at myself. If I said something else, I knew since I was in third grade what I was going to do. Maybe before that. I've been doing it. That's all I've known, and that's the path I've been on, and where my passion was, and what I love the competition. I love the sport. I loved all the sports. I love the people you get to be around. I love the guys now that I get to coach. It's just, there's nothing like it. And honestly, the rush of the adrenaline of a Saturday afternoon in the fall, there's nothing.
You can't beat that.
There's nothing that touches it. Baseball is awesome, right? But baseball, you got a doubleheader on Tuesday and you're playing again on Friday or whatever it is, and it's not the same.
In football, you only get so many chances.
Yeah,
many chances.
You get, looking forward to our season. You get 11, you're guaranteed. And hopefully if you have a wonderful season, you get a few more, but you're guaranteed 11. And then, it's such a challenge, it's and I think and I've heard this said before, and I believe it to be true, that the most competitive games draw the most competitive men. and it'd be hard to find a more competitive environment than the college football atmosphere, the coaches and recruiting and all that goes into it, and just how, and I'm not even saying it's right. I'm just saying the crazy amount of hours we all spend on this, and it's disproportionate. And you need a really loving wife that's really independent. You need an awesome family. If you got a dog, you probably should, that'd be good too, probably. But it's a tough life. You coach college football, you make that deal with yourself. You're gonna have some bumps in the furniture. It's rare these days that you can be Bobby Bowden and sit in a spot for 30 years, or Joe Paterno back in the day at Penn State, or any of these coaches that used to sit there forever. Those days are gone because the dollars are so large in the entertainment industry. I mean, people just want to turn the channel sometimes.
Yeah. And that kind of sucks.
It does.
I mean, college football became really irrelevant due to guys like that. Like you just talked about Bobby Bowden, like one of the all-time greats, Joe Pa. I mean, all those guys helped build up this game to what it is today. And now you see guys, I know everybody's talking about NIL deals. Well, that works for coaches too. I mean, that's, and it's different.
And it cuts both ways. Cause I mean, I'm all for the NIL and for players making money. I mean, right now it's a mess because there's no guardrails. It's unlimited free agency, and it needs to be someone in power. There needs to be some sanity put back into it for everyone's health. Because right now it doesn't make any sense. It's poorly led. Mm-hmm. One man's opinion. Now, it's one of the beautiful things, honestly, and it's refreshing right now to be here at Minot State at the Division II level. It doesn't touch us like it does, say, if you're at Oregon or
Texas, wherever,
Miami, you go pick a school. Right. Like, it doesn't touch us as much. There's still elements of it that touch us. But, hopefully, if some kid does really well for us and some FCS program or an FBS program wants that young man, and he's going to pay him $50,000 or $100,000 in an NIL deal, I'm going to tell him, go do it. Yeah. Like, I'm going to throw him out the door. Like you need to go do that, because if someone offers me life-changing money, then, I'm going to do that too. I mean, if it changes my life and my family's life for the better, then I think we're all, it's capitalism, and we're all going to do that. That being said, I really do look at some guys and say, be sure that's what you want. The grass isn't always greener. It's just a different grass, and so I'd hesitate for someone to leave that's a really good player in our situations for $10,000, $15,000. It doesn't make a lot of sense, because they're losing their current network here, the people that can help them. They've invested, they're entrenched in the community. The alums know who they are. Those are the people going to hire you, right, by and large. And you're going to lose that for $10,000 or $15,000, and then you go twist your knee or sprain your ankle, and you play 4 games, and you're just a rental somewhere. To me, that doesn't make sense as far as the portal goes.
Yeah, I mean, I stand with you 1,000%. I think you're right, and I think when guys like Nick Saban are talking about, hey, we need to make some changes, you probably should make a few changes.
Well, there's no doubt, and that's at the highest level when you talk about the Alabamas, the Oregons, the Michigans, the Texases, where their rosters right now are however many millions of dollars, or 70 millions for their roster right now, or something crazy. Yeah, I don't have.
That's a lot of quiche.
We're lucky to get some Jersey Mikes, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But it's like I said, some guardrails need to be put on nationally at a higher level. But like I said, right now, it doesn't touch us that much. And it's one of the more refreshing things of coaching at this level, because it's really, honestly, probably more of the essence of what college athletics really, truly should be like is what we're feeling here.
Yeah, I thank you for explaining that. There's some momentum built around the city that we sit in today, Minot, North Dakota, and it's the Minot State Beavers football program. Last year, the momentum you guys created was extraordinary. You felt this momentum that you haven't felt in a very long time. Just being upfront honest with you, you feel this, okay, here come the Beavers. They're recruiting North Dakota kids. They're creating these great pipelines in Texas, California, wherever. I mean, talk to us about day one when you walk into that office and I got a lot of work to do, but I got to start small and build this up, because that's evidently what you've done. Yeah,
no, I appreciate you recognizing that. We certainly feel it. and I'll take you from the day one into this morning.
Okay.
Like day one of, let's just say, summer workouts, which are optional, right? Now, everybody in college football has guys in there staying in the summers working out. Like guys will get done with the finals in May or whatever, and they'll go home for a week or two. And then pretty much when June hits, you'll have a lot of guys showing back up. And some guys are in summer classes or whatnot and get jobs in the community. And then July, pretty much in college football, everyone's back after 4th of July. That's just how it works in college football. When on my first year here, it was a tough transition. You know, I felt like there's a lot of things that we needed to do as a football program to get our program in alignment. Okay? And having been at the FBS level, FCS level, all over the country, seeing different practices and ways of doing things, I said, okay, what can make sense here? But going back to like one of the first workouts, I show up to the 6 a.m. workout just to peek out the window, and there's one kid. Strength coach, like, coach, there's one kid.
One kid.
Yep. So today,
what'd you say to him? Like, thanks for coming.
Awesome.
Where's your buddies?
We need more like you. But, and then, our strength coach this morning, like, coach, we got 86 kids there this morning. And a year ago, it was probably only been, mid 30s or whatever. So we've recruited, I think, our what we call, our E-mobs, that we say every man a Beaver. We're looking for basically our identity kids. Boise State, Chris Peterson used to call them OKGs, our kind of guys.
I like that.
Right. And so we've had to find our fit and look over in our recruiting profile, just getting the right. I mean, anytime, and Saban said this, and it's totally true, is in a turnaround situation, you got to get the first thing I do is get the wrong guys off the bus. And then you got to get the right guys on the bus. And then then the challenge is get them in the right seats on the bus. And I think the first year was really painful, like going through that season, and you get some kids that just aren't going to buy in, and it's going to be hard. And it's got a new staff together for the first time, and in some cases, and that's going to be hard. And then in year two, we really, all of a sudden, you're like, hey, you're beating some pretty good teams. We beat Sioux Falls. That hadn't happened in a while. We beat Northern. That hasn't happened in a while. We beat Winona to finish the season. That's never happened. And so then the kids start, drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit, like, hey, this guy might not be totally crazy. I'm just maybe partially, for sure. But they're, like I said, I think our staff has done a nice job. A wonderful group of assistant coaches. They're awesome. And we've identified kind of our fits for what we do, and I think we've created an identity offensively, defensively, and in the kicking game. I think we have a very distinct identity of how we play and what we're looking for, and we're contrarians by nature. We're gonna, if it's a fastball count, we're gonna throw a curveball. We're gonna be different, and we have to. Because the league we're playing in is one of the better Division II conferences in the country. I mean, you'd probably be the equivalent of the Big Ten of Division II football.
1,000%.
So, if we, you either have to be better than everybody, or you got to be different if you want to be successful. Now, if you're different and better, that's a whole lot of fun. But initially, where we're at in the program and the mountain we're climbing right now, trying to get to the top of the Northern Sun Conference. You got some big dogs up there with Augustana, Mankato, Bemidji, Duluth. I mean, you could go on and on. That's where we aspire to be. And so, like I said, I think the formula that we've put into place, the template, we're not reinventing the wheel. It's really kind of, we're trying to be like what Air Force is in the Mountain West Conference, or Army is in the American. And that's really, or what Harding is at the Division II level, in their conference down there in Arkansas and Texas, or Oklahoma, I guess. That's what we're trying to do. We're gonna be different. We're gonna run the flex ball on offense. We're gonna run the voodoo, we call it, on defense, and be a nightmare for people to line up against and make them not like seeing us.
There's something about 3 yards in a cloud of dust, that saying. And running the football, you can wear a team down. And my high school coaches, Bob Brown and Nate Nelson, they preach this. And luckily enough, my junior and senior, I played wide receiver, so we passed the ball a little bit. But 3 yards in a cloud of dust, you wear that team down, and hey, here goes pops a 45-yard run for a touchdown, and there's that wear down of the defensive side. Like, man, they will not stop. It's like you punch, and then you hit a big jab. Like, is that kind of something that's a philosophy of yours, or when you're, because it's evident, like I creeped your Twitter today, and you love running the football, like run the damn rock. Yeah. Like what brought that on for you?
Well, probably my dad being a coach and an upbringing, and I was a quarterback in Oregon growing up, and I mean I was like, I led the state touchdown passes as the player of the year, and we threw the ball, you know, but we also ran some option back then, and I grew up in that style of play. And then in college at Oregon State, we did that. And then when I got into coaching, it just kind of became my path, my identity. And then, I was been all over this. Now we've shaped it differently at different places. Like the soul of the offense hasn't left us, but depending on the personnel and who's a quarterback or receiver. I mean, we had Ramses Barden at Cal Poly. He broke all of Jerry Rice's and Terrell Owens' FCS records as a receiver.
Wow.
I think he got a touchdown in 20 straight games.
Wow.
And he had 68.
What was his name?
Ramses Barden.
I don't remember. Wow, that's incredible.
He was first team All-American two years in a row, and then was drafted in the third round by the Giants and played for the Giants. He wore number 13 for the Giants before Odell Beckham Jr. got there.
How special was he in college to break all those records?
Super special. Like, whatever.
What kind of routes was he running? Like everything, or what was?
Yeah,
was
we have the typical route tree. Posts, corners, drags, digs, hitches, fade. Yeah. But for him, it was a beautiful thing. Now that was 2008. We led the nation in scoring at the FCS level. We were in the Great West Conference back then, and that was North Dakota State, South Dakota State. Like there's some big boys in there. We never lost to North Dakota State. We never lost to South Dakota State. We were good. We led the nation in scoring in 2008, and that's when our head coach, Rich Ellerson, got the Army job. Partly because of our ability to distribute a little different. So we were throwing about 18, 20 times a game back then.
Wow.
But not a quarterback who could sling it. And we had, Ramses on one side and the Treadell on the other side ran a 10, 500 meters. So, like
little speed.
And we had some slots that were we were really good.
Yeah.
So that we scored, I think that year, 48 points a game.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. And we played Wisconsin, non-conference, week 11.
How did that go?
Well, that's another one of those kind of really good and really bad stories. Like we lost in overtime in
Wisconsin?
Camp Randall.
No.
Yeah. And we missed 3 PATs and 2 field goals and lost in overtime.
How deep were the field goals? Do you remember off the top of your head?
Yeah, I think one was 38 and one was like 42. Maybe
so
45.
They weren't gimmies, but you were kind of expecting.
As an FCS kicker, you like to think you'd make some of those.
Come on.
Or at least not miss 3 PATs, which was painful. I feel bad for that kid, obviously. But that was it was a great game. It was a clinic offensively. Like I think we had 0 penalties, 0 turnovers, and had 400 some yards against Wisconsin's defense. So
and that crowd, that's one of the best crowds.
It was awesome. To be up there in the box as a coach calling the plays and then wheeling and dealing against the Badgers, and they got dudes, and they were good, they were good, and it was a lot of fun. Candidly, as coach, it was a lot of fun, but we should have won.
Yeah. How different is it from coaching like on the field, which you are now, but when you're in the box? Like, are you looking at different things?
Yeah, when you're in the box, it's a pretty sterile environment, and when you're a coordinator, it's. Not that that's an easy job, but that's all you think about all week long and all year long. Getting the right touches in the right place to the right guys, and you don't have to worry about any of the big picture stuff. You give all that to the head coach and let him deal with it. That's why he sits at that desk, you know. And so that part, it's kind of like, all these guys now are playing, Madden or whatever, college
NCAA 26
just came out, right? And my oldest son, which is another cool thing about Minot State, my oldest son Bo's playing D-line for us. He'll be a senior this year.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I know he's playing on that game because he bought some console the other day, and from some guy he thought he got a deal on. So
that's awesome.
All these guys are playing it all the time.
Oh yeah, I am too. I love it.
So it's awesome, and I think honestly this generation's got probably a better feel as clock management, situational football, styles of play. There's so much that goes into that game that's positive, in my opinion. Nobody even talks about.
Right.
But I think guys are smarter than they've ever been about football, because of the gaming.
Well, even in this new game, 26 that came out like 4 days ago, I've been playing it. There's different stunts defensively you can run. Like you can change the stunts that the D-line linebackers can make, and you can like give cushion on certain sides. You can double certain slot guys if they're killing you. I mean, there's a lot of tactics that they put into this game to like separate it from the Maddens and the other ones. But dude, it's like, so when you said that makes perfect sense. Like these kids are playing it, and that's going to lead to some pretty good coaches.
It does. And when you sit up in the box, like pretty much that's what you're doing, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's
the best, I'm sure.
It's awesome, but there's just a little different consequences. If you don't win that game, like you have to tell your wife we're moving, and your kid, tell your friends goodbye. You're going to be a new elementary school next year. Yeah. And the moves aren't that bad when they're younger. When your kids are young, I have 3 boys, and like 2 are in college now. One's playing for us. One's playing baseball at Jacksonville University in Florida at the Division I level. And then we have a 12-year-old. But
wow,
yeah.
What position is he playing baseball?
Jonah's a second baseman. Yeah, and he can play the outfield too.
So same like Dad.
Yeah, he's way better.
Is he? Is he? All right.
So he had a good year at Jacksonville this year. It was all conference, had 3rd team all conference, but he hit 359, stole 24 bags, and he's playing here, which is another neat thing about being a Minot. Talk about how cool it's been. He's playing for the Hot Tots.
Oh, wow.
This is his 3rd year with the Hot Tots, which is really strange.
That's incredible.
He's only played half the year this year. I mean, he just restarted, a couple weeks ago. So, but, this has been home for us now. So we're going on, season 3 here, and it's been a blessing. It really has. 3
sons like that, man. That's congratulations. That's because I told you about Cade, my son. Yeah. Well, give me some fatherly advice. What would you give me? Because you got 3 great sons.
Put in the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the bottom line. I think would be present. As a dad. Same thing as a coach. If you got to put in the time, you got to do the job right. But the dad's the most important job we have. Mm-hmm. Like to me, that's I've never, even though like there's been some crazy time commitments from what I do, I've always been pressured myself to step away and put in some quality time with Bo or Jonah or Jordan and be there and get into them a little bit. And there's some tough love there too. They probably tell you that, but I'm their dad, but they're going to feel Coach Shields sometimes, where we're going to get it right. Mm-hmm. But I think the main thing is you just got to put in the time. That's the challenge, is put in the time, whether it's helping them with their homework, which actually mom's better at that than I am. But go out and throw them some wiffle balls if they're into that, and find out where their passion is. And I haven't tried with any of them to drag them into something. But once they do decide to do whatever it is, you better go do it full speed and do it right.
That's tremendous. Thanks for sharing that, honestly. Yeah. Let's talk recruiting. Before we hopped on, you were telling me about a few things you guys got in motion that sound super exciting. Catch us up to speed with some of the recruits.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to talk about there. One, I'm excited. You talk about this freshman class we just brought in here in this class. There's about 42 of them, I believe, and then we got some transfers on top of that. But of the freshmen coming in, I mean, I think about 35 of them are already here. Classes haven't even started yet, wow. Right? And they're here on their own, working out, with our strength staff, getting bigger, faster, stronger, learning their new teammates, learning, coming in and say, hey, coach, how do we do this? Or what do I do here? So that's pretty cool, because they're invested and they're committed. And I think the caliber athlete we've recruited here is pretty extraordinary. I mean, we really brought in some kids that can really run. We have partnered. We have a few guys that run so well, like they're going to run track too. And so that's part of the formula too. We got to find some fast guys. In this conference, I think that's our niche. We're going to be fast, powerful, explosive. We have some guys that bench press a lot, but so does Mankato and Duluth and the big boys in this conference. But our niche, if you will, is to be fast, explosive, and different, still and still powerful. But that's how this recruiting thing's shaped up. And I think that we're unique in, like, when you come to one of our recruiting weekends, or if you came into our locker room or walked around the locker room even today, you'd be like, wow, we have the most diverse team arguably in the country.
How so?
Well, we have young men on our roster from 33 different states right now, and 4 countries. Right, so we got guys from everywhere, and we have white guys, black guys, Hispanic guys, Polynesian guys.
The big boys, Polynesians are huge.
We have the most diverse team, and I have a diverse staff, and that's unique. And I really think that's a strength of ours. And listen, my wife's Hispanic. I'm a white dude from Oregon. Like, I don't care what anybody is. I don't. If you love ball and you're serious about getting your education and you're just have a good person, then it can work at our place. And it's really unique. When I took the job here, and when I came on my recruiting visit and met with President Shirley, and he was extraordinary. He's a great leader. It's one of the reasons I took the job, right? Because people are telling me, why would you take the job at Minot State? That's professional suicide. They've never won. And I'm like, I came here on the visit, and I'd done my homework, obviously. But, okay, we waive out-of-state tuition. We have an international airport about 1.5 miles from campus. It's affordable education, but it's a quality education. The faculty to student ratio is like, it's 11-to-1 student faculty ratio. I looked at all these things, and we got a city of 50,000 plus people here. Like, it's not some tiny podunk country town in the middle of nowhere. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere, but we got a city here. Right. And we can recruit to that, and I just believe we could. And, I was really encouraged by, Dr. Shirley. Like, I can work for this guy. I felt really compelled there's just a lot of signs like this is where I needed to be. I mean, for one, it's the Beavers. I played for the Beavers.
Yeah.
I got to the stadium. When I played at Oregon State, it was Parker Stadium. I look up when it's here, it's Parker Stadium. There was just so many weird things adding up. I'm like, yeah, this is a place where I need to be. And so it's worked out. And we're not where we're going to get, but I'm really encouraged the direction we're headed right now. There's a lot, like you mentioned, Dallas, there's a lot of momentum right now. We got a lot of good players coming back. I think we have 8 starters on defense coming back. The ones we lost, I think we've replaced with maybe even better. And, I think we got a senior quarterback coming back in Carson Crispin. We got a senior B back coming back in Evan Lovett, who's, all conference. Our left tackle's first team all conference is coming back. Like, there's a lot of good pieces in place. Now, that helps you, but you got to go do it, and like I said, I'm excited about the newcomers and the recruits and who we can recruit. And, I think now we have 14 kids from the state of Florida on our roster. I think we have 12 kids from Texas on our roster. We signed 11 kids from North Dakota. I think there's about 20 on North Dakota kids on our roster.
That's awesome.
But then they're from everywhere. I mean, we got North Carolina and a few Arizonas, quite a few Arizona, actually. Certainly there's some California. Like you said, 33 states. There's a lot of states.
There's this happy medium that I've noticed a lot of North Dakota coaches take at the college level, where they do a lot of in-state recruiting. Like you picked up Jet Lundeen, massive pickup for you, because now you got all the people in Minot are going to buy season tickets to the games because they want to see Jet play, and Jet's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
But also to find that happy medium with out-of-state kids, because let's be honest, there's a lot of talent. And there's talented players at North Dakota, don't get me wrong, but a lot of talents in Texas, Florida, Arizona. But you don't want to throw all your chips in there because then it struggles at home.
No,
North Dakota kids.
It's been a priority for us since I got here, is to, I really believe in it. And I think North Dakota State's done this for decades now.
Yes.
Right? Like, your heart and soul of your team, you're going to come from about a tank of gas from campus. Mm-hmm. That's where your heart and soul is. Our local/regional kids. That's the heart and soul of your team. But, you're going to have to go find your arms and legs and some other stuff elsewhere. Because there's just not enough here in North Dakota to be competitive at this level of football. And so that's why it's made up how it's made up, and I've seen it done. And if we're paying attention, we've seen it done at South Dakota State, North Dakota State, and Montana and Montana State, and some of the better FCS programs. That's how they do it. That's how we're doing it. And we have our unique flavor to it because we have our tentacles in some different places, maybe some other people, and our roots run deeper in some places than others. But that's how it's done, and we've done well in Minot. I mean, specifically, Tyson Rosick was state player of the year here, won the state championship at Minot High. Dylan Huber signed this year, who I think is going to be an extraordinary player here as a lineman. You mentioned Jet, Drew Zwack. I'm missing Josh Wills with us, who's a veteran D lineman. We have a bunch of guys from Minot, extended. Signed some really good kids out of Bismarck this year, which is really a first for us to get down and
that's a tough area
in there. And it's been tough, but even we had a camp this last weekend. We had close to 80 prospects on campus, and we had kids from Fargo, Cheyenne, Fargo Davies, Fargo North, South. We had people driving over here, which is really new for us. So, we're working at it. We have some kids from Minnesota coming driving over here. And so, like I said, some of these regional kids, we really haven't been able to even have a conversation with. They just hang up the phone in the past. Mm-hmm. Now we're, to our staff's credit, not my assistants, Mike Famigletti, our recruiting coordinator, Daryl McBride is our D-line coach, Tom Seamer, our assistant head coach, offensive line coach, Jake Rothschild, our defensive coordinator, Tommy Langford, our linebackers coach. Skylar Kavanaugh, our receivers and tight end. All these guys, when they all got their oars in the water. And, these kids aren't showing up here. We're not signing some of these kids in this past class. We're outworking people. They're oars in the water, and we're not to use a PJ Fleck, but we're all in, And the thing is we don't have the resources they do at the Big Ten level, right? I have, there's 6 full-time positions. That's it. And I got 2 GAs and restricted guys. That's it.
That's it.
And you got to do everything. Mm-hmm. So it's an advantage for a young coach, I think, to get in at this level because you get your hands dirty. Yeah. You're not just making coffee.
You wear all these hats.
You do have to make coffee, but you do have to recruit too. And then you have to coach a position. You actually get your hands on the wheel and you're running a meeting. And you don't do that if you're at Michigan. You're not. You're just showing the scout team the cards, right? Or you're picking up some toothpaste for the coach on the road, right? Or you're babysitting their kids. Like I tell you all kinds of GA stories, right?
Yeah.
So, but you're not coaching.
No, I'm dude. You preach to the choir. A couple of my friends went into coaching that I played because I played at Dickinson State, and his name was Dalton Gibson. And we were sophomores. He tore up his shoulder, had to get a rotator cuff surgery, and he tried to come back, but he popped it out again. Mm-hmm. So he was just heartbroken. Like I'm not going to get to play the favorite game I love. He ended up taking a GA spot with Dickinson State, coached 2 years there, applied for a different spot, ended up in Colorado. Then he went and coached at Michigan State with special teams. Now, as we sit here today, he's the special teams assistant coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. So like you just said, if you start small and you wear all these different hats and you learn all these different players, you make good relationships, dude, you can coach in the NFL one day.
Yeah, it's
not that far away. You just got to work hard.
That's it. You got to work hard, and at some point, you got to catch on with the right group or the right guy, and be in the right place at the right time. And sometimes it's just like you're hitting the Powerball, you don't even know it. But that's it, and it's networking, right? And but so much. And I tell some of these young coaches because I'm not a young coach anymore, Like it's weird.
Well, you look good, Coach.
It's weird. Well, it's weird sitting saying, man, I'm going to be 55 in a couple of weeks, But I'm still immature enough to make up for it.
That's awesome.
But it's an awesome ride. It really is. And for these young coaches, everyone gets caught up in bigger's better. And bigger's not always better. Better's better, but you want to get around the right people. And you want to get the right foundation. And my oldest son's going to get into coaching. I'm saying, okay, well, here's how it works. And he knows how it works. He's lived it, But like your friend you mentioned, like he gets on with a good guy. He gets over here. So you just keep your head down and grind and work. If you just get there earlier than everybody and stay later than everybody and be productive and recruit and do the work that nobody else wants to do, or even more specifically, do the work that your offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator you're working for doesn't want to do. Or more specifically than that, do the job that the head coach doesn't like to do and eat that up and take that off their plate. You're adding value. Like, do more. That's why he's with the Vikings now. I haven't met him, but that's how it works.
I got goosebumps. That's spot on for anything in life, even for me as a podcaster, because we're about to go do this NFL training camp tour to Kansas City, Chicago, Green Bay, and Minneapolis. And I'm just going to go to the practices, take it in, do like kind of what I see, and I want to do it because I want to create an opportunity for myself.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it because no one else is doing it.
Yeah.
And I got sponsorships now and I can do it. But that is for anybody. Like, think outside the box, do what no one else wants to do. First guy in, last guy out mentality.
Yeah.
That's all it takes, though.
And so that's, to do that, you got to have that voice in your head that is a little probably sick and twisted where,
Yes.
you know what? I mean, I'm not to peek too far under the hood, but I got up at 4 this morning and was during the convo, I was, why are you getting up? I'm like, well, that's what I always do. He says, well, usually it's 4:30. And I'm like, well, I got things I get done today.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm 54, almost 55. Like, but that's the if you're trying to beat someone and if you're in competition and we are, even when we don't think we are, right? Like the clock's always ticking. I remember going back to the baseball days and I'm thinking, if I'm not out getting the 500 swings today off the tee or in the garage or whatever, then I know some kid in Dominican is. And he's gonna whip my ass when we meet. And that was the voice in my head, right? And that's still the voice in my head. Like, okay, I'm not gonna get outworked. Now I don't want to, work myself into not being effective, right? Because you can that burnout is real, and you can do that too. I mean, there's some times I got to go golf, or do something, But I don't have many hobbies, and I'm either in the office coaching ball, recruiting, making calls, and then once in a blue moon I'll hit the golf course. I don't have many other hobbies, but I'm with the family, and that's it.
Do you think that's a voice that you cultivate over time, or do you think it's maybe because your dad wasn't coaching, you just kind of saw firsthand?
I think probably a little of all of it, I'm probably seeing some real positive mentors in this profession. That's like, hey, this guy's got the right perspective. Because I've been around some guys that were a challenge to work for, and I didn't think had it in the right perspective. Like this isn't really efficient. I don't need to sit in here till midnight. Like this 3 technique's still gonna be a 3 technique tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
We know what we do and we know how to attack it. So I mean, I think that bleeds back into kind of styles and personality types and systems and all that. But like I said, I think we're all little products we all are products of our environments, but professionally, it's so important to be, as a young coach, to be around good mentors, people you can say, okay, I was fortunate to work for Coach Pettibone as a GA and get my start. And then Rocky Long was our defensive coordinator. I GA'd on the defensive side of the ball, and he's one of the best defensive coaches probably in college football in the last 50 years. And, just be around good people, and positive influences on and off the field.
Oh, man, tremendous. This upcoming year, the schedule's out. What do people need to know about this upcoming football schedule in the Minot State Beavers?
Well, I think for one, it's a celebration year. This is the 100th year of Minot State football.
Wow!
So this is Team 100, and so that's pretty cool just by itself. It's our 100 years of playing football at Minot State. But what we haven't done, at least since we've been an NCAA program, we haven't had a winning season. Right, we were really close last year, like painfully close.
Yes,
and so we took huge strides last year. We won 5. That's 2 more than has ever been won at the NCAA level here. But I think that's the goal, and it's not easy. It's hard to do in this conference. There's a lot of people trying to do it, and there are a lot of people that have done it and are pretty good at it. We opened the season with a real challenge on the road with Emporia State in Kansas, traditionally powerful program. They were 7-1 last year and ranked in the top 25, and then they lost, I think, 3 of the last 4 or something like that. But they've done a great job of their overtime. That's a power conference they're in. We're going to be playing there. It's going to be a night game. It's going to be a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
7:00 at night.
Let's go.
And they got a bunch of transfers in, and so it's hard to say what we're looking at, and we're weird to look at anyway for them, I'm sure. So it'll be a heck of an opener, and it's a long trip.
Yeah.
And then Week 2, we're at Mankato, which I don't know how the conference scheduled it quite like that because we went there last year too.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
So, but like I said, that's really Mankato, and not that they're the Lone Ranger at the top of the conference, but they're consistently towards the top of the conference and one of the stronger programs. They made a deep playoff run last year. And Mankato's they're good at everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this conference, they're good at basketball. They won the national championship. I know men's and women's 2 years ago, right? And then baseball, they're really good. And, they're good in everything. And they have the resources to be really good. So that'll be a huge challenge. Those 2 games to start the season are huge. And then the week 3, we're back at home for our home opener against Concordia.
Okay.
So we'll be back home. And also, ironically, it's weird how the schedule plays out, but that's also homecoming,
Okay.
So
it's a big home opener.
It's a huge home opener. Yeah. And so it's not only is it a home opener, it's homecoming and, and all that comes with that. So there'll be a lot of festivities. Like I said, first things first, we got Emporia State coming up August 28th,
I'm excited for you, man. I deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate you coming in today. Coach, before you go, Swim Lessons, a podcast about overcoming tough times. Leave us with something, the audience and myself included, of maybe a quote or a story or something that you said yourself when you were kind of back was against the wall and you're trying to overcome something tough.
Wow. I was wondering why it was swim lessons.
Yeah.
Why do they bring me on a swimming podcast? I don't even know anything about swimming. I think I tried to date a swimmer a couple times, then I'm like, okay, now that's good stuff right there. So, yeah, I felt like I was deep in the pool a few times, in personally and professionally. I think we all face things. I do think, blending that question with what we're talking about football. I think athletics in general, I think football specifically, it's not always going to be 1st and 10. You're going to have tough downs in your life. I think that's why the lessons in our game make a lot of sense, because it's a tough game. It's for tough men. It's for tough people. And you're going to have your back up against the wall. It's going to be 3rd and 18. It's going to seem impossible. There's going to be 4th down, and you got to convert. And you're going to get hit, and it's going to hurt. You're going to take a loss. You're going to, life happens. And football, I think, teaches that's why this crazy game, because there's lots of great games out there, but I think football is one of the great games because it's the ultimate team game. But there's also there's real physical consequences for someone not doing their job, right? And it's tough. Mm-hmm. And it's such an emotional game as well. And so you have to develop some resiliency, some grit, some mental toughness playing that game, or at least playing at a high level, that I really believe adds value to your life. I learned some lessons in football, showing up and being accountable and being a leader, of fighting through adversity, of, hey, just play the next play. And what's the next down? I can't control what's happened in the past. I can't control what happens when that ball snapped here in 30 seconds, right? And that's the same in life too. So those lessons from athletics, like I said, in general, but football specifically in my case, have been, and I'm hoping we're passing that on to the young men we're coaching. That's why this thing makes sense. It's not so you can go to the league. Well, that might happen once every, few years. But the reality is you're preparing young men for life after football. Get your degree, take the lessons from this crazy game and use them when it is 4th and 2 and, your girlfriend takes off with the drummer or whatever it is. Yeah. Because things are going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. Life happens. So you're going to lose your job. You're going to, you're going to
fail.
You're going to fail.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to fail, and you're going to feel like you're drowning and you're the wrong end of the pool.
Yeah.
Right?
Man. Spot on. Tremendous. Coach, absolute honor. Make sure you follow Coach Shields. I know you're on X quite a bit, Twitter, Minot State, on all the social media platforms, and anything else you want to plug while we got you on?
No, I appreciate it. This has been an awesome podcast.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you coming in, man.
I thought we were going to talk about backstrokes and high dive and stuff.
I should have, when I say that email, I should have been a little more upfront, but
no, it's great. Yeah. It's great, and I appreciate it. And like I said, we're building something special here, and anyone in Minot and within a tank of gas at campus, come check us out this fall. We got a great group of young men to support.
Oh, I know there's a kid in my hometown, Divide County, Stockton Nelson. He's really looking forward to coming to a few games, so it might be a young Beaver in the making there.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Coach. Appreciate your time. That's a wrap, everybody. Thank you.